Welcome to our next installment at Home with Holland Home. I'm Michael Saliba-Loafman, Director of Sales here at Holland Home, and really delighted to have this webinar because we've had a lot of people register. So I think it shows a lot of interest. And I'm joined by my two colleagues who I would also consider friends, Robin Carlin and Giovanna Vanderschaaf. Sorry. Your
That's
maiden
good.
name was easier.
I agree.
Yeah. So we're just really delighted you can join us today. We're going to talk a lot about some of the design process and what Holland Home's doing to stay current and up to date in our facilities, both in the apartments and homes. I think it speaks to our commitment to providing quality spaces to live. And I think you're going to have some fun today. You see my face, but I'm joined by the sales staff. Selena, Cindy, Victoria, and Patty are joining us. So we're welcome them, and many of you probably know some of them. Robin and Giovanna are our renovation and design coordinators here at Holland Home. So if you decide that Holland Home is your next home and you start the design process, you're going to be working with one of these great professionals. Just like all of our webinars, this will be posted online after today's webinar. And it is going to be at hollandhome.org/resources. There you'll find 18 other webinars we've done, everything from talking about our Vibrant Living Wellness Initiative to the Continuing Care Agreement to downsizing to transitioning through the continuum of care. A lot of great topics that people seem to enjoy reviewing. We get more people that watch it later than even watch it live, and our numbers that watch it live continue to increase. So just for some housekeeping, if you have questions, we're going to have a chance for question and answer at the end, just like we do with all of our webinars. If you could post that in the Q&A, not in the chat, the Q&A, that way Robin and Giovanna can see them, and then I'll moderate that at the end. So without further ado, I think we should get started with our webinar. So Robin, Giovanna, we here at Holland Home, we talk a lot about renovations, and after sales kind of hands them off to one of you, we talk about some turnovers or some renovations. We talk about standard ones and we talk about extreme ones. So can you talk to us, like, what's the difference between what happens in a standard renovation as opposed to an extreme?
Yeah, absolutely. So like Michael said, we have two different types of renovations. The first one being the standard renovation. So that includes updates such as carpet and sometimes vinyl, but that just depends on the condition of the vinyl. So encompassing flooring. It also includes new paint throughout the unit. Depending on the condition of the countertops, we will sometimes replace the laminate in your unit as well, and any outdated appliances or fixtures. So the most basic standard renovation is carpet and paint, but it can go up from there.
And so somebody, even with a standard, it's really going to be fresh carpet, fresh paint. It's really going to be to their design palette and everything.
Yeah. Yep, and we'll also go through, we make any needed repairs to anything. Obviously, we're doing that maintenance check, so that's also very important. So on the other side of that, there's the extreme renovation. An extreme renovation is exactly that. It's an extreme. So it includes updates to basically every surface in the unit. So this is cabinetry, countertops, flooring, paint, fixtures and hardware, usually appliances. There's that one-off where, something has been replaced in the last few years. We would keep that in there if it's still in working condition. But in these types of renovations, residents are getting basically a clean slate. They're getting to really, start from square one in that unit and make it their own. So It's a bigger renovation, but they're very fun. We like
Yeah.
extreme. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and just so our viewers understand, Holland Home looks at these, what would determine something that's an extreme is if roughly if the apartment or home is over 20 years old.
Right.
So
Yep.
at Raybrook Estates 1 and 2, we have done about 89% of our apartments. So
Yep.
we're almost done there. Raybrook Homes, we've done about 40%. So we're really now looking at doing a lot of these at Breton Terrace and Breton Homes because they're kind of getting to that 20-year mark.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one thing I would do want to mention, because we didn't have this, we didn't talk about this earlier, but one of the things I think people are so surprised to hear is that when they sign and do the final walkthrough with you all, it's move-in ready. Like I get a lot of questions. Do I have to clean? I'm like, no, it's as clean as it is Dutch clean. It is as clean as it's going to be ever. So it is, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can just start moving in right away. Bring your toothbrush because you're ready to go. So
absolutely. Yes, that's a great point.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the process, because I think a lot of our prospective residents may have been in their home 30, 40 years. They've not done something like this. We hear a lot about, like, I wouldn't even know where to start. So can you talk to us a little bit about how, because I know that process continues to get refined and gets better. Can you talk to me a little bit about, or talk to us about how does that happen?
Yeah. So first, Giovanna and I would like to stress that we recognize that a move to Holland Home and just thinking about maybe downsizing and all that involves can be stressful. So we're here to help with that and kind of ease that stress that you may have. And so we've tailored the process to help ease in that stress, so that we're asking you, the right questions, and we're providing you with the right information to work through the process with us. So what happens is we get your name from the salesperson that you were working with, and then we call to set up a meeting. And that will be, the first meeting will be at either your apartment or your condo. And then at that first meeting, we bring a packet of information that includes floor plans and our selection options and things like that, that will be a part of the process that will help you. And then when we meet in the unit, we'll walk through each room and talk about those spaces and the changes that you would like to make in those spaces, and what's going to stay and what's going to go. We'll discuss with you our standard options versus what an upgrade is. And then really what this is it's a good information gathering time for you and for us. So we're learning more about you, and you're learning what you can do in your new space. At that meeting, we'll set up a second meeting, which will be about a week later. And I like to, and I think Giovanna does too, we send you home with homework. And that usually includes thinking about maybe paint colors that you have in your existing home that you'd like to have here, or maybe you want to do something totally different. And we also have you look through our standard selection package that includes lighting options, plumbing options. That would be if it's an extreme, and think about what some of those changes might be for you. So the second meeting is actually in our showroom here on the Breton campus, where we're at right now. Yeah. And we're going to look at all the finish selections that we have available for you. It includes paint and flooring, countertop materials, cabinetries, etc. And when we're making those selections, one of the things we will point out more than once is that there's lead times involved with making selections. So if it's an extreme, we have cabinetry that takes approximately 7 weeks to come to us. So we have to figure those times into our schedule. The more extreme a renovation might be, the more time that is involved in doing that renovation. And then we, after the second meeting, sometimes it takes a third meeting, it might even take a fourth, but we take all that information and we put it all together and create a document that's going to help you to understand what your new space at Holland Home is going to look like.
That's great. That's great. And I know completion times will vary depending on how much work is being done. And there could be factors that if you did like a solid surface, that adds significant time because they can't even measure that till the cabinets are in. So, and those are all things you're going to be kind of educating the incoming resident about, especially if timing is an issue. So,
Yep.
yeah. And with the real estate market, the way it's been, timing has been an issue because people's houses are selling fast. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what are some design trends you're seeing? And I know you've put together some packages there in the showroom that we're going to get to take a look at.
Yeah.
But what are some design trends you're seeing with residents moving in? This is kind of like this is like our version of HGTV here. So
Yes.
what are you seeing?
Yeah, so like Michael said, we put together some packages that kind of display some of these design trends. So I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to flip my camera around here and we're going to take a look at some of these examples. So this first little package that we've put together here is all standard selections. So by standard selections, I mean that they are no upgraded cost to you if you were doing like an extreme renovation or if they were due to be replaced in your unit. So some things that stand out in this package are the neutral beiges and gray themes that you see. So this cabinet finish is something a little bit unique. We see people leaning towards something a little bit richer sometimes than the white cabinets. This paint swatch here shows those tan or beige paint colors that are super nice in a unit.
Yeah, Giovanna,
yes.
Could you rotate your camera a little bit because it's really narrow.
Yeah.
And we want to see all the fun stuff that you're doing.
Yes, let's see if I can do this here. Okay, here we are.
Woo! Wow.
Yes,
in living color. I love it. Okay.
Yes.
Continue. Thanks for the hint there.
Yeah, now you can kind of see more of the cohesion throughout this package. But yeah, it gives, a really nice, clean canvas to work with. People like that when they can do, pops of color with their furniture. It matches really well with a lot of different patterns, colors, things like that. So yes, this is a sheet vinyl flooring. So this is our standard laminate flooring or sheet vinyl flooring. This is a good example of a standard carpet color. It gives you a really neutral color to work with in your space. This is an example of a laminate countertop that is popular in spaces. It's, plays into a lot of those neutral tones and works well with a lot of different colors as well. So that's a good example of a package that we see pretty often.
Yeah, and those, just to stress again, those are all standard offerings.
Yes, right.
Yep.
And I may be getting ahead of myself here, but
That's okay.
The vinyl flooring is something you're seeing a lot of, right?
Yes. Yep.
Vinyl. Plank.
So in these so this one is a sheet vinyl. Something that we'll get into in the other packages is the vinyl plank.
All right, I'll be quiet. You go.
No, it's totally fine. So this next package here is more of that gray toned palette that we're seeing very frequently. It's very popular throughout a lot of different renovations that we see. Here we have an example of what that vinyl plank that we kind of just mentioned. So Robin will hold it, but it comes in, individual planks and is a snap together product. So instead of being one sheet, it gives you a look of more of a plank. Here we have a darker gray carpet with some gray paint, but you can still see you get that contrast throughout the space as well. And then we have a white cabinet here to add contrast as well. And then this is an example of a solid surface countertop sample that we have, where it pulls together the gray and the white tones. So that's a really great example of a gray themed unit that we see pretty frequently too.
That's great. In what other, oh, you got more, it
Nope.
looks like.
We have one more.
All right.
Yes. So our
It's
last
like
one,
a TV commercial. Wait, there's more.
Yeah. Wait, there's more. No, yeah, the last one we just wanted to highlight some earthy tones. That is something that has recently come very popular. People want to kind of bring the outdoors in. There's that emphasis on wellness, staying active, and bringing that liveliness into the space. And so we're really excited when people want to, play with color, bring some depth into the space. So these are some popular colors that we see sometimes, like the sagey green, blue, and then more of a darker wood tone vinyl plank flooring is also very popular. And then another example of the solid surface countertop. And then this is another lighter cabinetry as well. Another upgrade or a finish you can do in a space is tile backsplash. So we wanted to highlight that too. That's a really fun way to add a pop of color into a space. So you can see how well that goes with your cabinetry, your paint color, and that just kind of pulls everything together. It's a fun little touch. So yeah, that is the packages we have together.
That's awesome. Any other trends that you can think of that are really been popular with residents that?
Well, one thing I wanted to add to when we're talking about the packages that we're showing you is that those are just things that we're seeing that people are selecting. You are not obligated to a specific package or a specific paint color. We have lots and lots of different floorings that you can choose from, different paint colors. So we have more than 3 options for our residents. Really, the options and combinations are endless.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes too many, right? It could be a bit overwhelming, but that's where we rely on experts like you to kind of help us walk that path. So yeah, and I know one of the questions we talked about on Monday when we were kind of planning for today was, are you seeing a difference between people that may be coming to Raybrook or people that are coming to Bretton Woods? Are you seeing any kind of different, like, are they different designs that they're doing or what?
No, I would say we kind of came to the consensus that no, generally it really just depends on, the individual renovation, but that doesn't vary really between campuses. Okay. So we're seeing a lot of these similarities across both campuses. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen here and see if I can do this again. And we're going to do some before and after.
Gotta go back over.
Let's see here. Let's do some before and after. So here is a before picture. Okay, and then the after. Yep. This was a routine turn, if I'm remembering.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a few upgrades in the space, but the highlights, to play to the routine or the standard renovation is they repainted the walls, they switched out the flooring. They also took away that breakfast table extension of the countertop, which really opened up the space. And then they added a pantry, which was an upgrade. But you can see like they switched out the old appliances, which really made a difference in the space as well. And then the flooring really updates the look as well. But yeah, this is a great example of what you can do with a routine renovation with just a few upgrades.
Yeah, you kind of can see the difference. It's pretty, looks very up to date. And
Yes.
stainless, you said, talk to us about stainless versus white. What's been the trend?
Yeah, I think that we're seeing when you have the two options between the stainless and the white, I would say more people go with the stainless option for their appliances than the white. Sometimes it depends on just kind of the look and the feel of the space, but the stainless is very popular.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty marked difference here. So, all right, let's look at the next one. Here's before. That's kind of dated with the moss tile and everything. That's the before. Now here's the after.
Yeah. So a lot of people, when they have 2 bathrooms in their unit and one of the bathrooms has a tub, they like to go with having the 5-foot walk-in shower put in. I would say that's a trend that we're seeing residents doing, if it's an upgrade or if it's just something that's part of the routine turn that we're doing. But having that nicer walk-in shower with the shower door is popular. And as you can see, it's not even the same space hardly. Getting rid of that dated pink tile, opening up that shower.
That's great. All right, here's our next one. Here's the before. So some dark cabinets and things. Here's the after. Are you sure this is the same apartment?
I know, this one is very impressive. So this was an extreme renovation. As you can see in the before pictures, just starting with the flooring, those floor lines are slightly, you can call those a little outdated, the rounded edges, and then the laminate just being in the kitchen. The vinyl just being in the kitchen. By extending that flooring throughout the main space really opens up everything and draws the eye through the space when you walk in. They also extended the countertop out a little bit and did solid surface countertops in the space, totally changed all of the cabinets, appliances. We took back that wall that's right in the entry there a little bit to open up the space as well. But yeah, like Michael said, is this even the same apartment? It really just, it just changed it completely. So
yeah, definitely. That's exciting. All right, here's our next. This is a pretty stark one difference too. So here's the before and there's after.
Yeah, again, it doesn't look like the same apartment. It doesn't. It looks so different. And that's one of the nice things about moving here is that we're open to your design ideas as an incoming resident and what you would like your space, how you would like your space to function for you. And in this one, it's very popular to take down that column in that kitchen, between the kitchen and dining room area. And as you can see, it looks radically different. All we did was remove that column, but it makes the space look just that much bigger. And we removed the column and then we cut down the wall that was in front of what would be the sink on the kitchen side and extended the countertop over to create a seating area where you could put countertop stools and have a little bar area there. And we added that little china cabinet on the end. It acts as a support and also, has the function of being able to store beautiful things in there.
Yeah, wow. It's so much brighter and open. And then again, kind of what Giovanna was talking about before, like the flooring being consistent really makes the space seem even larger. So,
right.
All right, here's this one we kind of got a tease on our PowerPoint at the beginning. Here's the before.
Yeah.
And there's the after.
You want to talk?
Sure, yeah, so you can see this space is fun to see too with the furniture being placed. Sometimes we don't get to always see that end result like that, but the main highlight for this one is that wow wall with the fireplace. So this is a custom design that was curated by Robin.
And an existing resident.
And an
at Holland
existing,
Home.
yeah, so you can see they have like the really nice stone that was installed, the shelving, and then obviously the highlight is the fireplace. So this is a custom job, something really fun that is very unique, and it's just something we wanted to highlight because it shows the creativity that we can really harness and add to a space to make it very unique for somebody. So that's really fun that we were able to do that.
And one of the other things that I would add about that job is that other than the stonework, everything about that was done with Holland Home's own tradespeople. We have our own carpenters, electricians, plumbers, painters, and they're all employed by Holland Home. So that helps us to be more consistent and have control over the work that we're doing and the quality of work.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And this design, I think this is the second one we've done. This was at Raybrook. And again, it came from a resident, actually, right? It was their kind of their vision. And you know it's the same space because the light's the same.
Yes.
Everything else is different, but the light's still there. So awesome. Okay, I think we have one more. We have one more, and then if there's questions, be sure to put those in the Q&A. So here's the before. Notice the high cabinets and everything. This is the after.
Yeah, this was an extreme renovation. So we took down the wall that was between the dining room and kitchen and opened that space up completely so that it is a very open floor plan. We updated the countertops, the cabinetry. As you can see, there's an in-counter stove with a hood. And then they also put the microwave and oven in the cabinetry over there on the end. And that's a very custom countertop where the snack ledge is at and the seating there that we worked with our solid surface vendor on. And then we also did, which is very popular, as you've seen, the vinyl plank flooring. We did that throughout this space. It just looks like, again, another totally different home.
Mm-hmm. The windows are consistent. That's about it. So
that's
yeah, and having been in that space personally, I mean, removing this top here, it just the whole home seems much larger.
Totally.
So, yeah. But I think, you know, when that was built, that was kind of the look, right? The kitchen was going to be secluded. You didn't want people seeing you cooking, and now that's where everybody gathers. So
right. Yeah.
All right. I think that's our last one, actually. It is. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So let's see what questions may have popped in here during the presentation. While we wait for some questions, Robin, Giovanna, anything you want to add at all, or anything we missed based on our conversation?
No, I mean, this was awesome. We enjoyed getting to share kind of the process with you guys, and we're excited to see what the future holds. So when you come here, we'll be ready for you.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, look, you get to work with a quality sales staff, and then you get to work with quality people like Robin and Giovanna. So it's pretty it's pretty amazing. So pretty cool opportunity for residents. And again, like you said, Giovanna, like, we can't wait to see what the next resident may have some inspiration to.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's see. I don't see any questions yet. So the only other thing look, if people have questions, you can always let your salesperson know. We can connect with Robin or Giovanna. And we really hope that you choose Holland Home and you get to see, I think what this all shows, not only the quality of the work, but our commitment to putting money back into the building, to keeping things fresh. And I think that says a lot about Holland Home. So here, I did get a couple questions. So can I decide to do renovations or upgrades after I've moved in?
Yeah, you absolutely, you can do that. That would be what we would call a non-turn quote or a non-turn renovation. And I will add that it tends to be more expensive to do that just because you're already in the space. It's much easier for us to work in the space when there's no furniture in there, when we're not working around things that already exist within the space.
Yeah, and it's a lot less disruptive. So
yes.
I know we've talked about pantries a couple times. This viewer is asking, how much would it cost to upgrade by adding a pantry?
Depends on the size of the pantry. So how that works is we have our cabinetry vendor come and measure the space and determine, the full size pantry that can fit in the space. And it also depends on if you're just adding it, like Robin was just talking about, with a non-turn quote or in the course of renovations. Typically, it's around, 17 to 2,000, right around there, 1,700 to 2,000, depending on the intricacies of what that would involve. But that can just give you a rough ballpark on that.
And so our standard option where a pantry would go is a desk. So it would be a desk, a countertop, and then storage above. So we do give you the allowance of what that cabinetry and countertop costs to put towards your pantry.
Yeah, and that's the number I had that I've seen come across. So it adds a lot of storage for 1,700 to 2,000. So.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah. You get a shout out. It says we're in the middle of the renovations process and been so pleased with the opportunity to work with your wonderful, talented staff and the quality choices available.
Oh,
Nice.
wonderful.
That was nice. I'll share that name with you after we get off today. So,
okay.
Can you change your options, upgrade, or are you only to choose what you have there? I think the question is, I'm not understanding the way it's written here, but I think they're asking, like, is it only what we've offered there in the showroom, or are there other options?
Yeah.
So with that, we have certain vendors that we work with. So let's say you don't particularly like maybe our lighting packages that we offer, then we would send you to our vendor to work with them and pick out other lighting that you prefer. And or like with flooring, we have lots of flooring options, but we also have vendors that we work with where you're allowed to go and pick out flooring from them as well. And then we still work with them. So we're taking care of everything on our end and the relationship with them. And so it's not something you would need to pay for or price or any of that. We would get all the quotes. And then, yeah, I think.
Yeah, so you're not limited, but we kind of give you a very wonderful sample size, and then can kind of help you narrow down what direction you would like to go from there. It's a good starting point. Yep.
Another question, what's the typical timeline for a standard renovation versus an extreme?
It depends. Again, we've seen recently with these routine or standard renovations, more often than not, people are doing, at least a few upgrades throughout the unit. And so depending on what those upgrades are, it really just depends. So
Right.
I hesitate to even give an estimate because it really just depends on lead time, like Robin was saying, the schedule of our trade staff. So we do everything in-house. And so how many units we're working on simultaneously. And so in the last, year and a half, that timeline estimate has really just depended on how busy things are and what upgrades you're doing in the space. If it was just paint and carpet, like if you were really gonna just do the very basic, what was due to be replaced, that kind of thing with standard selections, what would you say? I'm always, I don't know.
Well, what I can say is that when we start the process, as we're making selections and we put together what we call a refurb plan, and then once that's signed by you and approved, it goes to scheduling. And when we get that date, that move-in date for you or construction completion date, that's a hard date that you can guarantee. Like we don't miss those dates ever. We do everything in our power to make sure that date is still obtained. And because we recognize you're selling a home, you need to know that you can move from your home into Holland Home. And so you will know well in advance.
Months in advance what that date is. So you can coordinate with your realtor, you can coordinate with movers, and it will be no problem. So things like that are good to know.
People should understand the timing doesn't start till the design plan is signed.
Right.
So, if a standard or routine turn takes, I've not seen them. I mean, we've done some quicker, but normally if you allow 3 months, you're safe, right? I mean, sometimes they're a little longer based on some stuff. Sometimes it's a little shorter, but it's not going to be 2 weeks. So
no.
Again, I'm not trying to give a hard, fast answer because look, carpet could be back ordered and we have to try, so there's many. I think we've started a lot of these things with it depends, and it does depend because of supply chain issues, etc. The one other question we had here is are standard renovations included in the price, or is any renovation additional?
So how the process works is we get a list of everything that is due to be replaced in the unit. So with an extreme, it's everything. And then with the standard renovation, it's certain things. So the certain things that are due to be replaced are no cost to you if you make standard selections. And that just means selections that Holland Home deems as standard. And when we're going through that process, we let you know what those are. And we always start with our standard selections. So if you want to, you can go above and beyond those selections. And that's when we, would put in that extra effort figuring out what that would look like for you. But those standard selections are no cost to you if they're deemed to be replaced in the space. So good question. Yeah.
And you saw when Giovanna was holding up the camera to the different packages, and that tan or beige package, like she mentioned, that's all standard product. And while we showed you a lot of the extreme renovations, the standard product choices are beautiful, and we do regularly have just standard selections made, and those spaces turn out equally as beautiful.
They do. And in that case, even if you were doing an extreme and selected all standard finishes, that would be no cost to you. So we would replace all of those things, but you didn't upgrade. So that would just be the cost that you've paid, and it's included. So
Great. Yeah. And I think we've had a lot of people comment even in different spaces of the because the quality of materials is so much higher. Like
Right.
you'll
Right.
look at a vinyl as an example in the kitchen, and like, yeah, that's standard. It looks like tile sometimes. I mean, it's so rich looking and high quality, but it's standard. So
Right.
I don't know that I understand this question. It says our bathroom mirrors, and I don't. Can you talk about bathroom mirrors? I don't know what the question exactly is. So
So we do our standard bathroom mirror is just a large wall mirror that is cut to fit the exact size of the vanity. So depending on, you know, if we're replacing cabinets and countertops and we need to adjust the size of that mirror, we can cut the mirror and reinstall it on the wall. But generally, yeah, it's just that full size wall mirror.
they're large for sure.
Yeah, they're huge. It's really nice. So
And then to add to that, if you, when we're meeting with you, if you say, you know, I have this beautiful antique mirror that I would like to hang in my bathroom, can I do that? Absolutely. We just need to know ahead of time, and so that we can prepare the wall. After we've taken the mirror down, we want to be able to patch it and paint it so that it looks nice, and then you can hang your own supplied mirror.
yeah.
Great, good. Hopefully that answered your question, Marilyn. So I don't see any other questions, and I'm respectful of everybody's time. Again, if you have questions, talk to your sales consultant. They don't know the answer they're going to get with Robin or Giovanna. And this again, this webinar is going to be posted on our website probably early next week. Our next event is not a webinar, it's a park party here at Bretton Woods, our Bretton Woods Park, which has pickleball and bocce and all kinds of new things. So that's an in-person event in July, so look for an invitation to that coming up very soon. But having said that, thanks again for joining in. Thanks to Robin and Giovanna, and have an awesome day.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.